So today we're working on a project for our Engineering 141 Circuits class. Over here we're using some facilities that are part of the electronics department over in the area where we normally hold our labs. We have our own equipment for doing testing and so on and so forth. But in here we have the ability to actually do some soldering and some fabrication.
And today we finished up our continuity testers. What it does is it tells you if there's a short in your circuit, which is kind of important because their current will always flow through the branch where there's the least resistance, and sometimes you want it to go through one of the other branches. So if you just have your circuit all built up and there's nothing in between it, essentially you just have this. And a buzzer goes off. It's a warning to tell you that there's a short there. However, if you do have a resistor, say like a light bulb or some circuit element in between, when you test it, there's no buzzer, meaning that you built it more or less right. There's nothing horribly wrong. I was always kind of interested in engineering and physics. I wasn't really sure which way I wanted to go. And I started, I take the physics classes, the introductory calculus classes, and then also the introductory engineering classes that Professor Wilson mentioned. And as it turned out, I enjoyed, circuits most of all. It also helped. I did not like statics, which he mentions that we all take, and that's kind of mechanical aerospace route. So I decided, nah, maybe I'll pass on that. And since I did like circuits more, so it turned out I'm an electrical engineer.
Just about any kind of product that is sold is most likely going to have some electronics in it. And that's why most engineering disciplines require at least one course in circuits. So it gives them a fundamental understanding of circuits and how they work, and if they need to troubleshoot, it gives them, again, a basic idea of how to measure voltages and currents and what power means, and some basic analysis techniques as well as some basic fabrication techniques.
Madam Chair and board members, my name is Jeremy Wilson. I'm professor of engineering here at MJC. There seems to be this misconception that students can study math, science, and other general education courses and then transfer and take care of their major coursework at a university. That simply is not true. From the University of California Davis website, it states applicants must complete all lower division courses required for their specific engineering major as listed on the assessed website. This is true for all UCs and the majority of CSUs. Dr. Walter Luskatoff, professor of mechanical engineering and department chair at CSU Fresno, says, "I have seen no students come into engineering from a community college that did not have an engineering program."
Honestly, I just started coming to JC and I was taking just basic, Math 90 starting off or something like that. And I just saw a couple of things that were going on in engineering. It interested me. So I decided to give it a shot, and I really ended up liking it. That's what community college is for, basic classes, stuff like that. But it's supposed to be beyond that too. You shouldn't just concentrate just on the basics, I should be able to come to a community college, get my first 2 years done for anything, any major I want to do. If I want to do engineering, I should be able to come here, get my first 2 years done of engineering, not transfer, and then, I still have to take all this lower division stuff before I start my junior year, which makes no sense. Like, you cut this program, you're going to have to take properties of materials, statics, graphics, engineering circuits, like all these classes you're going to have to take. Also your differential equations, the math class I'm in, the physics. You're not going to finish all that stuff here if you cut this program. And then why would students come here for the engineering then here? No one's going to come here anymore for engineering. If they didn't have this program here, I don't know what I would have been doing. So it's been a big help to me. And also, even though it's a small program, think about the classes we're taking, like these people are trying to push themselves to the limit. These are the engineers that are going to be feeding into the society, and they're just taking it away.
Program, lots of math, lots of physics, chemistry, general education. And so a student could take care of all of that here at MJC, but if they don't have those 3 or 4 engineering courses, they definitely won't be able to get into a UC, and most CSUs are not going to let them in. So what most of our students are faced with, these students here are at the end of their education here at MJC, so they're okay, they're done. But the other students that are halfway through the program, what's going to happen with them is they're going to have to go to another school to get those engineering courses, like another community college. There are some online options out there that they may have available to them, but for the most part they're going to have to figure out something else. And new students coming into MJC, it's probably not the best option to come here, just because if they do, they're not going to have those courses, and it's always going to be taking some courses here and maybe some at San Joaquin Delta College.
My name is Dennis Thorpe, and I'm a lone tenured faculty member in the architecture department. I believe we are overlooking the global picture in the debate to eliminate architecture and engineering programs at MJC. The debate is not about me and the architecture program. The debate is not about Jeremy Wilson and the engineering department. The debate is about the future of our country, our community, our students, and the education opportunities they deserve. Alfred McCoy, a professor of history at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, recently wrote a critical treatise on the future of America titled How America Will Collapse by 2025. Mr. McCoy states, the U.S. education system, that source of future scientists and innovators, has been falling behind competitors. After leading the world for decades in 25 and 34-year-olds with university degrees, the country sank to 12th place in 2010. The World Economic Forum ranked the United States at a mediocre 52nd among 139 nations in the quality of its university math and science instruction in 2010.
You know, America isn't going to be the superpower anymore. By the year 2025, we will not be number one. We'll be lucky if we're third or fourth or fifth. And it all has to do with all of these little decisions that are being made at MJC and everywhere else across the country that's just absolutely destroying our scientific background and our innovation and the things that have kept us a world superpower. The transferable college-level classes at MJC represent 15% of the math department. 85% of the students in math, the sections in math, are all high school level remediation classes. Rather interesting that we're putting that much emphasis on remediation.
My name's Ryan, and I came to California because the junior college program they actually have. I'm 30, so I started back a significant number of years out of high school. And Modesto Junior College's architectural program, in addition to the school itself, had a pretty good reputation, and so I actually moved down here. And it's been a very exhilarating experience, actually. And the architectural program here has definitely set me up for success. I have 4 degrees and a certificate, all in the architectural area. I have a very well-rounded background for going out of state, out of MJC itself. So I'm doing very well in my transferring. One of the things that bothers me currently about the way MJC has gone about cutting their programs and some of the courses is it appears they took some of the, well, it really appears they took more of the advanced, complicated stuff out that has a lower success rate of pass and just said, well, let's not focus there. Which the unfortunate thing is things like engineering, architecture, even foreign languages, you're going to see a lot of people go on to not just pursue a bachelor's degree, which there are fewer courses around the country, or I'm sorry, there are fewer universities around the country that offer the program, so it's more competitive, obviously. But you're going to see more people pursue master's degrees for their profession, and it's an area that, of course, you're going to have fewer people going into, fewer people succeeding out of. Obviously, this country turns out fewer postgraduates than they do undergraduates, but it feels like MJC would rather have large numbers of lower level transfer, lower level success instead of where the bar was, which was we are turning out a smaller percentage of very high long-term competitive graduates.
When we're forced to limit our enrollment to 16 or 20 or 24, whatever that number is in the studio, that's a decision that the school has made. We want an architecture program. We want a dental assisting program. We want a culinary arts program. We want a program that is limited in the number of students that we can accommodate in any one section. They have to say that, okay, for every one of these, we need a health ed class with 100 students in it. We've got to balance big classes with good FTEs with these smaller FTE programs and reach some balance. Within the SME department, they'd been doing that over the years. The math people took on more than, I won't say more than they could handle, but they were always willing to take on more students in their classrooms than maybe was comfortable. And they were helping to make our program viable because that was all we could do. So our hands were tied. We could only do so much. And then all of a sudden this year, they come along and say, your program's bad because you don't have the numbers. The reason we had the low numbers wasn't our fault, wasn't the program's fault. It was the nature of what we had to work with. And if the school wants to make that philosophical decision that we don't want any small programs, all we want are big lecture hall type programs that generate FTEs so that we can survive, then that's something they have to decide. I don't think they really made that commitment. I don't think that they really cut these programs realizing that there was this symbiotic relationship between one program helping to support another one. They just said, get rid of the little ones, all we have left are bigger lecture hall type classrooms, and that's the school that we want to have.
The community room has its own entrance. The service quarter has their own entrance, so they don't come into the lobby with their food, or if they're moving in tables. The exercise room has their own entrance, so they don't have to walk through the lobby.
My name is Heather Collins, and I am a second-year architecture transfer student, and I am transferring in October to New School of Architecture in San Diego. I applied everywhere. I couldn't get into any architecture schools because they're impacted, so I came here as a last resort, and I took all my classes in 2 years, which is a good thing. Most people can't finish in 2 years because of math or science, and so I finished in 2 years and I'm leaving. Through the architecture club, I got to know local architects, and that's a good job opportunity when I come back. And if I didn't go to the school, I wouldn't have those. So I think they're also sending jobs away for future architecture students coming back. They wouldn't come back because they don't know anyone here.
My name's Tim Fisher, and I'm a retired architect here in Modesto. I had a firm for about 26 years, and I started working at MJC in the mid-'80s, teaching architectural history. And in fact, because I had a relationship with the junior college here, quite often we knew the students that were excelling, and we had a little intern program, and we were able to hire them during the summers, during the Christmases, after school, and of course that really helped them, and they went on to Cal Poly. In fact, 2 of my future partners we ended up getting through this program.
It's a significant loss to the community, and I don't mean that just because we were able to hire cheap help. I mean that just the idea that they're in the community, they have that potential to essentially grow up in the world of the profession of architecture, engineering. Even if they go away, the likelihood of them coming back to the Central Valley, where professionals are needed in the Central Valley, the likelihood of them coming back if they start out here is greater than if they come from outside or San Diego or someplace out of state. I think it's a lot of folks like me that have family connections here want to come back to the area. Some of them want to be architects, and some of them may be architects but haven't been introduced to architecture yet, and Modesto Junior College was a great venue for that.
It's been kind of tough. We haven't been allowed to talk about the programs. I've given 3 2-minute speeches. This is by far the most I've talked about the whole program outside of just the other people in the program. So 3 2-minute speeches to 2 committees and to the board. 2 minutes to try and explain a program or talk about what's going on, good, bad, or indifferent. That in and of itself says you've been, that it's demeaning, that you've been trivialized, that you can't say a thing. You can't say a thing to defend yourself or your program. I'm not defending myself as much as I would be defending the program and what it means to MJC and Modesto and the professional community around here, and as I said before, what does it mean to America and what we're doing to our students? You know, we're not giving them any opportunities for anything other than remedial math and English.